Welcome, Traveler. Today we're going to be rolling some characters for my new cozy series, If You're Reading This. If You're Reading This is a combination of Iron Valley and Apothecaria. It's primarily a social game based on healing others. We are taking on the role of a chemist who will eventually become the village witch. Spoilers for what you actually do in Apothecaria. Nonetheless, I want to roll up some characters now for the upcoming episode, so creating these characters doesn't take up the majority of that episode. So we'll just be doing some step-by-step processes. I don't know. It won't be too difficult, and hopefully it's going to be a nice, chill time and environment. Let's go ahead and get that started. The first character we're going to want to start with is the mayor. We referenced the mayor near the end of the first episode, and I know we're going to meet them like pretty much immediately, right? So let's go ahead and get that started with a sex roll. Even male, odd female. Even male. Next, we're going to want to go ahead and pull a name from randomlists.com. You'll find a link to it in the description. What we'll do is roll D6 for the amount of page refreshes, and then we'll roll a D12 to see what name we actually get. So here's the D6 first. 5 refreshes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And now the D12. 10. Riley. Let's hope he's not living the life of Riley. You know, I actually don't know what that means. My dad used to just say that about the cat, and I assumed it means like you're living well. I should look that up and make sure it's not something terrible. Let's go ahead and roll for last name now. It'll be D6 refreshes and then D12 for the name. So here's the refreshes. 1, lovely. And then here comes the refresh. And by refresh, I mean roll. 11. Reynolds. Riley Reynolds. Double R. I don't know how I feel about that. At least it doesn't rhyme. Again, that's all we ever aim for here. Now we need to figure out the mayor's job. With the mayor's job figured out, we need to give him a proper age. Normally I'd start about 20, but I want to have this character be a little older, more distinguished. So we're going to go with base 30 and then D20 on top of that, right? Give us a nice age range. Let's see how old you are. 34. All right, I thought he'd be a little older than that, I'm not going to lie, but we're going with it. 34 it is. It's the funny part of, like, having the spectrum right there. It's like I at least always assume it's going to be somewhere towards the middle or near the end, and I never consider the fact that it's going to be in the front. Of course, you can go lower than 10 on a D20. The more you know. But hey, mayors can be young, right? Especially in fantasy times. It's a fantasy. There can be anything except bucket hats. So now let's go ahead and get a hairstyle. For that, we're going to be looking to D% Quick Character Description Generator. You're probably familiar with it by now, but a link will be in the description. This book, this PDF, has a series of tables for, a quick character description. It's very descriptive. So I'm going to throw the hair traits up on the screen now, and then let's see what he gets. D100. 83. Thick. That's all it says is thick. We figure out and implement the rest as we get in game. It can mean any number of things, right? We move on to hair color now. That will also be up on screen, as you can see. I guess the only thing that doesn't make sense is white, but he can dye his hair. You can do whatever you want. People put like crazy blue hair in fantasy games. Not me. I have to be a generic-looking human, or else I can't connect with the character. 7. Oh, I thought he was bald for a second. I'm like, bruh, how is he bald and thick-haired? My guy. But no, he has auburn hair. Why is bald a hair color? That is... That feels like it should be under... Is there even bold for hair traits? There's... Okay, shaved... Shaved would be different, though, right? That's hilarious. Bald is a hair color. Now we're going to move on to eye color. And the only thing I don't want off this list is mismatched. I can't. That's like the number one thing. I see a character with mismatched eyes and I'm just like, oh, you're a Mary Sue. Get out of here. But here we go. D100. Anything but mismatched. 28. He has blue eyes. Next, we're going to be deciding the character traits of this person. Originally, I was going to do 3 for each townie, but now that feels a little too small, and I'm going to go up to 4 just to see how that is. What we're going to do now is give 2 traits. We'll roll 1, and then I will decide the other, just based on the context clues briefly that we get. So for this, we're going to be turning to Iron Valley. On page 194, we have a Townie Traits Oracle. It's a D100 table. It has a bunch of nice things on it. I will not be putting it on screen like the others, but like I said, if you have the Iron Valley book, which I suggest you do, it's a wonderful game, it's on page 194. So here comes the roll for the mayor's first trait. 52. Irritated. Oh... That's fun. Okay. That's going to be interesting. And it kind of fits in. So what I was thinking originally, when I saw thick hair, if I remember, if I'm picturing the character correctly, oh my god, that was 10 years ago. Wow. 10 years ago, I read through the entire Toradora light novel series, and I know it had an anime and all that, and when I read thick hair, for some reason, I immediately pictured Erisaka Tiger, the way that she had Taiga, not Tiger, but yeah, the way she had like thick hair off the back. If I'm picturing the character correctly, it's been a long time. And that goes along with irritated, how she always gets like super mad. I know it's not the same character, but not that she's super mad, you know what I mean. Sorry, it's been a while. So that's interesting. How does an irritated mayor? Well, so you can't see it, but 49 hot-headed is actually what I was thinking when I read irritated, but they're both on the list. How do we ascribe irritation to somebody? I was going to say, when I said irritation, maybe he pisses people off, but no, he is irritated. He's the irritated person. But that's different from hot-headed. Well, maybe hot-headed. We take hot-headed to be gets pissed off easily, and irritation means like he gets bothered easily, kind of like agitated. Like it's very easy for him to get overwhelmed, but like towards anger. I don't have to be articulate when I'm just doing a casual character creation. Talking to myself here. Just keep going with it. You're fine. So we're going to go ahead and do... this guy gets overwhelmed and aggravated. Not pissed off, but he just gets antsy, we should say. That's what we're going to take irritated to mean. And then what's the second one we want to go ahead and give? I was going to say troubled, right? Because if he's troubled, that goes in part with getting the, with getting overwhelmed and anxious, feeling like he has to do something, but maybe we don't want to do that. As I was reading through the list, I was tempted to give him something like overprotective or prepared, but that kind of conflicts with what happened previously and the current unstated backstory. It was referenced that the witch took care of the people of Hyranok, and then she just straight up vanished, right? If the mayor is overprotective and gets overwhelmed easily, why hasn't he reached out before? Why hasn't he reached out yet to get a new doctor, resulting in Barrett coming to the village, right? So how do we square that out? Should we say optimistic? He gets overwhelmed easily, but he's like optimistic. He figures it'll work itself out. He'll find a way to do it. Maybe he's optimistic about the witch coming back. I think that's what we'll do. Optimistic will be the other thing that I give him. The personal trait that I add in. So we have irritated and optimistic. Before finishing out with the mayor, we're going to go ahead and do body type role, because I feel like we should include that for descriptive purposes. I'll put that on the list. It's back on the quick character description generator. And here comes the role. 18. Kinda husky. Okay, that's everything we're going to need from the mayor. Let's go ahead and move on to somebody we've already met. Yosef. Now, I got Yosef's name wrong in the last episode when I was going back and editing. His name is actually Yosef Meyer, not Yosef Collins. I just read the dice wrong and looked at the wrong thing when I read it. But his name is Yosef Meyer. We only know that he's sick and that he's a he. Let's go ahead and fill out some details for this character. We don't have a job for him. We're going to find one by going to the Dungeons & Dragons Profession Compendium. This massive list was made by user, I believe a Reddit user, the_Camwin. This is like multiple hundreds, a list of multiple hundreds worth of occupations from various different things. This is a free list, and you should literally go ahead and check it out. I just got to the bottom, and it's 430 occupations. Linked in the description, of course. So check it out. It's wonderfully useful for generating fantasy occupations. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll roll that. I highly doubt it's going to break over 430 on this anyway. So here it comes. Here comes the roll on the list. 144. Yosef is a thatcher. So he goes into the bomb site and uses EMPs to... So Yosef was a thatcher, which I believe that's the people that worked on like thatched roofs, which we just established that some of the houses, at least some of them in Hyronach, have thatched roofs. Interesting. Well, that doesn't mean he has to be super old or anything, right? He doesn't have to be older. He probably has to be younger. So we're going to go with the generic... Get out of here, dice. We're going to go with the generic 20 plus D10. Right, so here comes the roll. He is 22. The voice I gave him sounded a bit more gruff than what I would expect a 22-year-old to have, but... You know, the dice like to retcon literally everything. We are at their mercy. All hail the dice gods. So let's go ahead and jump to D% character description. And we're going to go ahead and do some hair traits again. Same thing on the screen. Here comes the D100. 86. He has thin hair. Ooh, maybe he's balding. Because, I mean, thin could be anything, but I just immediately thought, like, balding. But I guess receding would be that, right? Let's do a color roll. If it's bald, you know, I was right. 77. Gray hair. He has thin gray hair. And you're only 22. My guy is mad stressed. I think that'll be the trait I personally give him. Let's do body type now, so I don't have to keep jumping back and forth between PDFs. And here comes the roll. D100. 73. It'd be weird if he was like overweight. He's not. He's skinny. Okay, skinny guy on the roofs. I was gonna say I have a 41, have an obese character thatching roofs. That'd be hilarious. Or muscular, just have just boom, boom, just Arnold Schwarzenegger on your straw roof, just breaking through the top. Jumping back to page 194 of Iron Valley, let's go ahead and give him a random trait. D100 on the list. Ooh, a solid 1. Adorable. There's nothing more adorable than coughing like a 10-year-old child. Okay, so he's adorable and apparently skinny and gray-haired. Do I want to make him anxious? I feel like I want to make him anxious. We can say that any personality traits he was giving yesterday, it was yesterday for me when I uploaded the video, in the last episode, is from him being sick, right? You act different when you're sick. So I'm going to go ahead and give him anxious. I feel like anxious works here. He doesn't technically have to have thin gray hair from being sickly and anxious, and my keyboard just slid. But that's what we're going to go. Now I'm picturing, I think his name is Sky from Harvest Moon. Physically, that is. What's funny is I said we're not jumping back and forth, but I don't think I gave him an eye color. And if I did, we'll just cut this part out. D100, here comes the roll. 80. He has hazel eyes. I didn't give him eye color. I see that on the list. Next, we want to work on the merchant. We already know that it's a female character and that it's a thin character, but we don't know any other details other than that. Also, we know that they're a merchant, specifically a traveling merchant. So, let's go ahead and give this character a name. So, D6 for the amount of refreshes. 4 refreshes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here comes D12. 8. Michaela. It's not Michaela. Michaela. We're going to go ahead and do last names now. D6 for the amount of refreshes. That's, yeah, I thought it was D8 for a second. 3. 1, 2, 3. And then D12. 1. Mendoza. Michaela Mendoza. It vaguely rhymes. I don't like her anymore. It starts with M and ends with A, like both the names do. Oh, I hate her now. Let's go ahead and do an age roll now. This is going to be, I feel like we can go young. So, 20 plus D10. Here comes the roll. I lied. Now here comes the roll. 24. She's doing pretty well for herself. She has a wagon, a carriage, actually. I know I used the word wagon, but I was picturing a covered carriage. I gotta get back into the habit of describing things. I'm a writer, by the way. Let's jump back to quick character description generator and get some hair traits. You see the table on screen? D100. 43. She has long hair. And what color would that long hair be? How do you have long hair and be bald? I never noticed that before. D100. 64. She has long golden blonde hair. Which I'm pretty sure Trinity Michaela had golden blonde hair, but hers was layered. Let's get an eye color. D100. 86. Light brown eyes. All that's left is to go ahead and give her some traits, right? 'Cause I don't think I missed anything. I do just realize that I haven't been giving any of these characters skin tones. Oh, wow. Alright. What is Michaela's skin tone? 14. Where is it at? She has a black skin tone. While we're here, what's the mayor's? 68. Where is that at? Where is it at? Okay, he has a light skin tone. And then let's go ahead and do Yosef's. 84. He has a medium skin tone. What does that mean? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and jump to Iron Valley to give traits to Michaela. So it is a D100 for the first one, random of course. 76. Rebellious, that's fun. You can't tell her not to do anything. So my immediate thought was that, she was told that as a young girl she can't go out and be a merchant without protection or anything like that, or she wouldn't succeed on her own, and yet here she is succeeding on her own. So The easiest thing to say with rebellious is that she's strong-willed, hard-headed. But I also see the term passionate on the list. And what if she's just rebellious because people are trying to deny her her passions? I partially also think about the fact that she opened up the sliding porthole on the carriage to tell the others, hey, you know, we're about to see Hyranok. Like, she's excited to share that, to share Barrett's first coming to the village, right? Does that lean with passionate? Maybe she's passionate about, you know, traveling in a way? We will go with passionate, though. Despite having a name that I don't like, I feel like this character is going to be fun and enjoyable, not only to roleplay, but just to be around, which, you know, traveling merchant's not going to be around very often, but this is going to be a strong character. I can already see that coming. We are going to do one more character today, and it's going to be slightly different. I want to do the little kid that is sick. The way I took the ventriloquist cough to be is that someone else is the one sick and coughing and you're the one coughing for them, right? That's how it's explained. I don't know why I said the way I took it. Nonetheless, let's describe this little kid. We didn't give the kid a name, so we're going to begin with that. I did establish it as being a male character, so let's go ahead and jump to male last names. D6 and then D12. 3. So we have 3 refreshes. 1, 2, 3. And then here comes the D12. 9. Lorenzo. I thought it was Chaz for a second, and I don't know why that felt funny to me. Lorenzo. Okay, and then let's get Lorenzo a last name. D6 refreshes. 3. And then here comes D12 for the actual last name. 11, right? Yes. Stevens. Lorenzo Stevens. So we know that this is a child. Age-wise, I think we're going to go with base 5 and then D4 from there to find out how old he is. That seems like a good range. On the lower range, he's 6. On the higher range, he's 9. That feels fine. You know, I'm not really around children, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to portray a kid that's not annoying or, like, overly adult. I mean, adult as in, like, mature and not childish. Or maybe I'll go the other way and be super childish. I have no clue. He's sick. It doesn't matter. D4, how old is the kid? He is 8 years old. Solid. That's kind of... I was guessing maybe 7, but 8 works out fine. So we don't have a job role, but let's go ahead and do the job role just to see what he wants to be when he grows up. You know, what you want to be when you grow up, I was going to say says a lot about you, but like at that age, I think I wanted to be a marine biologist. And as an adult, fuck the ocean. Like, you don't know what's down there. Could be Cthulhu or a clownfish. We're going to jump back to the profession compendium. And we're going to do a crap ton of D100s and all that stuff. So 1, wrong dice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the roll. 183. When Lorenzo grows up, he wants to be, what should it be, like gangbanger or something? Because I just passed the crime section. It's like right past that. He wants to be dean. Like a college dean? My guy, you are 9. Think of something crazy. Be an astronaut in a fantasy world. Go on to create the bucket hat. No, he wants to be a dean. All right. Maybe he's seen Caddyshack. Is there even a dean in Caddyshack? I've never seen that movie. I just know it takes place on college or a golf course. I don't fucking know. He wants to be a dean. Maybe dean means something different in medieval times, but we're going with college dean because that's I don't know, that's funny to me. Maybe his dad's a dean or something like that. We're not gonna roll it here though. Let's figure out how his hair is. We're going to D%. Here comes the D100. 70. He has slicked hair. Oh, he could have been a little criminal with slicked hair and been all like, "Ayy." But no, he's a dean with slicked hair who is still saying, "Ayy." Let's see his hair color. What if this kid is balding? Oh, that'd be hilarious. Here comes the roll. 89. Platinum blonde. Was that what Michaela was? I don't remember. It was some sort of bright blonde. All right, let's do eye color now. D100. 87. Light brown again. Let's get a body shape. 47. He is obese. Do the roar. Oh man, I'm gonna be so tempted to give him that voice, because isn't that little kid have like blonde hair like this, though it's not slicked? I've only seen that movie like once, but my girlfriend for some reason quotes that at me all the time. So we have that. Let's get skin tone, D100. 26. Brown skin tone. Is that everything that we need for him? Did we do eye color? Yeah, light brown. I didn't write what it is. I just have colors written on the paper. It's like, what do the colors mean? Thankfully, you can't have platinum blonde eyes. And I just misspelled eyes. For some reason, there's an L in the middle of it. Probably because I was saying platinum blonde as I wrote it. Why am I admitting this to you? I should cut that out. I'm not going to, but I should. Okay. Is that everything for the kid? Oh, traits. No, duh. Alright, so back to towny traits from Iron Valley. Here comes the D100. 66. He's optimistic. That's fun. He believes in his heart that you will do the roar. Okay. And then I can give him one. Why does he want to be a dean? That's going to be the fun part. The most obvious and boring one would be nerdy. We're not doing that. Is he eccentric? That'd be fun. Is he chatty? Is he cautious? No, he's not cautious. I do like the idea of him being well-spoken. Maybe he's an older soul, like, that's just how he feels. I don't want to say wise, but if I did make him wise, it would, you know, I could totally play the little 8-year-old kid as being, like, you know, much closer to my age. Let's go ahead and go with, man, that's a hard one. I like serious as well. Let's do serious. He's optimistic yet serious. Does that conflict in any way? No, you can believe in better things, but you can be serious. That's fine. It looks like I wrote seniors because my letters blended together. Serious. There we go. It's much more legible. Okay. Those characters should be enough to get us through some decent roleplay without having to actually roll another character. I don't know how well creating the characters before the roleplay is going to work for me. I try not to think about these games when I'm not doing them, but I am only human, wub, and, you know, sometimes it happens. Like how I knew that, like, we're going to meet the mayor when we get there, because it just seems like the most appropriate thing to start with. So we'll see how it works out. Hopefully you enjoyed my ridiculous ramblings. If you want to submit a character in the comments, you don't have to randomize or roll anything. You can if you want to. Just throw out some details and I'll include the character in the story at some point. I hope to see you in the second episode of If You're Reading This. Until then, I'll be in other worlds.